In this video, I'm releasing a private call that I held with my free Amazon group and a buddy of mine's. We hopped on Zoom together and I showed a ton of free game on how to source products, how to stay organized better in your Amazon business. And I think it's super valuable. I wanted to share it with you here on YouTube. So be sure to take notes and take action on the strategies that we broke down on this call. Let's go ahead and just jump into it. Welcome everybody. Hope you're all having a good night. We're going to be hanging out here for like an hour or so. We'll give it a second for everybody to trickle in. I've got some stuff prepped, some Q4 sourcing, some SellerAmp sourcing, all that kind of stuff. I'm just going to go ahead and jump into it then. Probably be like 30 minutes or so of value. I want to make sure you guys are prepared, knowing how to source and all that. And then we'll do Q&A and stuff. Sweet. All right. So kind of what I want to talk about is making sure all of you guys are super prepared to just be well equipped to source products this Q4, right? I don't want that to be holding anyone back. So I want to kind of go from how to identify sales to look through, how to be looking for products, kind of the easiest ways to do it, a couple different tricks with SellerAmp. It's going to help you make a lot more money. And yeah, we're just going to go ahead and kind of get into it, right? So the biggest thing that I see a lot of new Amazon sellers doing when they're trying to source products is they're doing like reverse sourcing or they're manual sourcing, for those of you guys who have tried a little bit, right? And you don't really understand like what the opportunity is for you that day. And I think that's kind of a big mistake. So the first thing I do before I'm going to start sourcing, and I would highly recommend this to you guys as well, is just kind of figure out where's the best place for you to be looking, right? Instead of just popping open a random item, start storefront stocking. We'll do that here in just a second. But you need to have that back of mind knowledge of like what items are on sale today, what's on clearance, what are the different kind of opportunities I should go down. Because if you're just opening up a storefront and trying to see what they sell without knowing what's on sale, you're going to end up looking at a bunch of vitamin products when, let's say, every shoe on the whole planet's on sale that day, right? So I'm going to kind of run through the 3 sites that I like to check to kind of get that under wraps. So first one's going to be Retail Me Not. You guys can write this down, all this kind of stuff. I'll also probably make this into a YouTube video for those of you guys who want to check this out later. So Retail Me Not is kind of the first one I like to check. So go retailmenot.com/coupons. And then today, let's just go ahead and pop open like a clothing and shoes, that kind of thing. And it's basically just going to list a bunch of like trending coupons. You just need to get an idea of what's on sale that day. So for example, Macy's 15% cash back. It's going to be through Retail Me Not and stuff. Looks like you can also probably find some coupon codes and stuff. So it's massive cash back today, by the way, guys. So that you're going to see a lot of that on here. But like DSW, perfect example, 20% off on DSW. So now that I have that back of my knowledge, every time I find an Adidas, a Nike, a Puma, any of those big shoe brands, I can probably get 20% at DSW and kind of compare it back to there, right? Let's keep going. So like Kohl's, 15% off your order plus Kohl's cash. You can see what brands kind of apply to that. JCPenney's got a 25% sale. So yeah, just go ahead and pop open some of these sales. Don't spend super long doing this. You obviously want to get some actual sourcing work done, but it's super important to just kind of get an idea of what's going on. So let's see, like just check out a couple different brands so you can just see like Nike, what kind of sales they got going on. I actually don't think JCPenney does much. So you could check like Adidas. So whenever you're storefront stocking and you start seeing different listings, seems like they actually have some pretty good discounts on a lot of Adidas stuff. So it's building that back of my knowledge, right? So this is one of the things I'm going to check. Also going back through all these different categories, just kind of getting a quick feel for it. Seems like it's a $10 off code. You usually are looking for like % off codes or like a buy one, get one 50%, that kind of thing. And that's just going to make it a lot more exciting, right? 12% off $55 plus order. And it's just kind of building that back of my knowledge. A couple other things that are on kind of my daily checklist would be Capital One Shopping. They also have a free Chrome extension that hopefully all of you guys have and you're activating and looking for coupons on the sites with Capital One Shopping, but they also have a website. I didn't know that they had a website for the longest time, but you can go in and go on here and click trending coupons and it's going to do the same thing. So like in this case, I don't know if we saw this Nike code we got going on right now, but it seems like there's maybe a 20% off code on Nike that we'd want to be aware of. As we're looking through storefronts, it's like, oh, I found here's a decent looking Nike item. I know that I can probably get 20% off today. It's building that back in mind. And then the other one I would recommend is called Deals Plus. These are all free, just easy things to check every day. And yeah, so just kind of scroll through here, look for some % off. I was peeping this a second ago. There wasn't too much interesting on Deals Plus. So that's why I like to have 3 different ones. It's like Retail Me Not had a lot more cosmetic sales going on, extra 20% at Bath and Body Works, lots of different stuff to go off of. So you never know who's going to have the good ones. It's also a good idea to, on all these websites, just kind of sign up for the email list and they'll hit you, hey, we've got a 20% sale going on today. There's going to be a ton of pre-Black Friday. Be on the lookout for pre-Black Friday sales going on. There's actually a couple of those already today. A lot of times those are among the best sales that they'll do all year. And so those are going to be some good opportunities as well. So that's just kind of a quick little identifying opportunities. And now you've done that for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, however long is kind of reasonable for you. If you've got an hour to source, don't spend half of it looking for deals, of course. So for me, it's usually 10, 15 minutes. I'll pass this information on to the team, that kind of thing. But for you, it's going to be kind of building that back of mind. So once you have done that, you know what might be on sale today. The best way for you guys that's going to be to find your first items is just with simple reverse sourcing. So I'm going to run through this as though you've never heard of that before. It's probably what you're going to see in a lot of YouTube videos and that kind of stuff. You guys have been soaking up some free value, but I'm just going to start start from ground zero here. So I'm pulling up an example of just kind of like a Nike branded product here. Really, it doesn't matter where you start from. You can start from any of the profitable products we find today. You can start from Nike, great value, any brand that isn't sold by the brand itself and has several other arbitrage sellers on it, right? So I just like to use this because there's basically only arbitrage sellers on these listings. So I'm not necessarily even interested in this exact product. Sells a little slow for my taste, especially split between all the variations, that kind of stuff. So I am going to use this, and you guys could use this exact same product as your kind of jumping off point to find more. So I'm just going to hop into the offers tab down here on SellerAmp. If any of you guys are brand new, this is Keepa, this is SellerAmp over here on the right. These are kind of the only two like sourcing tools you really need to get started. And yeah, down here on the offers tab, we can see who else is selling this listing. So a couple of, like this seller right here, Buyers Connection, they've got like 8,000 feedback. Whenever I'm looking for a storefront to stock, I'm usually looking for someone that has feedback that indicates that they might not be, you know, a big massive wholesaler, big massive distributor, that kind of thing. They might have some ways to find discounts that are going to be really hard for you to figure out as a beginner. So probably skip through these first two here. And then yeah, perfect. So we got this guy with 4 feedback, definitely not doing anything insane. He's probably got a couple of his first few products, made probably a couple $1,000 in sales. It's pretty slow to get feedback on Amazon. And so these products might be a little bit more likely for us to be able to find them as kind of beginners, right? So we're just going to go ahead and start going on through here. The few things that I am going to be checking for, and kind of the key to the game with reverse sourcing, with manual sourcing, all that kind of stuff, is opening as few links as possible. The fewer products you look at, the richer you're going to get, which sounds counterintuitive, but it's about figuring out your process of elimination. So you have to open less links, basically, right? So as we're looking through this reverse sourcing screen, the storefront view, a couple things stick out to me. Number one is like Amazon being on this product for almost entirely. And that's a big red flag that helps me kind of skip over a lot of these products. Amazon tends not to share sales with third-party sellers. We can go ahead and open up these listings though. They are shoes and that kind of thing. So there's going to be a good shot that maybe there's a variation or something that Amazon's not selling. I also get the question a lot, like, can you compete with Amazon? This is actually an item where you might be able to compete a tiny bit. I wouldn't recommend buying it, but the more you see Amazon up on the top in that orange there, that's kind of where they're getting the buy box. And so on an item like this, you're maybe going to make a couple sales on this, if that, right? Amazon seems to be hogging pretty much all the sales. They went out of stock here for a little bit. But what we can do is, if you think you maybe can find this item on sale, you found a really good Adidas sale, that kind of thing, is just hop into the variations down here. I like filtering by ratings percentage. And then we'd also want to see kind of the Amazon history. And so as we're doing this, we can see like which of these products Amazon is currently in stock on. So just doing a pretty quick glance based on all the fastest selling variations when we filtered by ratings there, seems like all the fastest sellers Amazon's kind of interested in. So this to me would be like a pretty quick skip. And to be honest, like after doing the business for several years, like I probably never would have opened this listing, because you're going to look at a lot of products like this where super common Adidas products, you know, you see a lot of Amazon on it, and it's just going to be kind of something to look out for, right? So something like this, these shower slides, it's not only just looking at the Keepa charts, right? So it's, you know, Amazon's on the listing, but it's also like you get thinking logically about it. Like, are people buying, you know, summer slides super often in, you know, whatever, in November? Maybe you get them for Christmas a little bit, that kind of thing, but it's definitely not going to be selling as fast as it was when it was like pool season. So I might just kind of hop right over that. So this, on the other hand, seems like, so we need to buy these for a maximum of $44. As you guys get better and better at sourcing, the muscle that you want to work on is kind of understanding what a realistic max cost is for the kind of the niche you fall into. And so looking at this, as a beginner, I wouldn't know if $44 is reasonable. So we'd want to go ahead and dive into it, right? So what I'm going to do is pop open the Amazon listing here. You can also use the Google button on SellerAmp. It's going to pull this title. So in this case, the title it pulls isn't going to make a lot of sense. Some of these listings are kind of the Wild West. Like this one would pull the right listing, this one would too, but it's just women's race shoes. So it's probably not going to find the right item here. If you do go into the individual item, a lot of times it'll show you up here. Or kind of another hack you guys can use if you're really confident that you might be able to find it profitably, is right click and then search image with Google. And so we're looking at these kind of Nike shoes here, pretty consistent pricing. We're going into Q4. If we zoom out to last year, maybe these didn't sell last year, but as we're going into Q4, you're going to see a lot of like shoe listings and stuff where they sell way faster during the heat of Q4. And so it can be something you might want to look into a little bit more. So with that image search, seems like we might have found a few different places we can buy it. So it seems like Nordstrom Rack might have them for like $55. Maybe Finish Line has them for $44. Apparently that would be pretty close to profit if so. It seems like maybe the wide versions. I think we were looking at the women's over here. So we do know though through that image search that these are Revolution 6s now. So when the titles are kind of messed up, it's kind of a good thing to take advantage of. So now we can just search like Revolution 6 women's, see if we can find them on sale anywhere. So maybe right there for 42. You can see maybe at the actual Nike website for 46. And that's pretty interesting because we were already back on the storefront view. Our max cost that we were interested in this item for was $44. So now that I'm pretty close and I'm finding items that are decently close in price already, I definitely want to look down this rabbit hole a little bit more. Guys, just wanted to pop in real quick. We'll get right back into the action. I wanted to make sure that you know, if you want to get invited to the next couple calls that we do like this, get a ton of free value, get some PDFs, a couple hours of free content that's going to help you start your Amazon business, check out the Amazon launch launch pad down below, completely free. Let's jump back into it. Seems like Kohl's has them $42 on a lot of these Revolution 6s. Let's go ahead and, I closed out my actual tab there. So yeah, so if we're buying them for $42, let's see like what's our minimum price that we want to sell it for it to be interested. So 75, maybe a little bit higher than 75. So like $80. We can see up here that at least some of these are going for $80. Might not be the standard black and white, but since this says $80 up here, I'm going to dive a little bit deeper, just hop into variations. And since we know that a lot of these are like 67-ish, I might just go ahead and filter this by like current highest price. So we can just look at all the ones that are at least $80. That makes sense. So on Keepa, we just go variations and then filter by new, and we can see all the ones that are like $100 plus. See what other colors did we have? So we got the white platinums and the standard black and white. So let's see. It seems like that could be it. No, a lot of the like pink checks or something like that on these. So we're already down to like $80. So here's the white platinum though. This could be profitable. Go ahead and check this one out. It's 11.5. They do have a couple ratings. This one I'm probably not super interested in because it's never had a rating. Kind of another way to infer whether or not that actual variation is sold before. So yeah, let's check this one out. Oh, it's popping open the Keepa on me. To go there. Yeah, so 11.5. Let's see if that price is consistent, that kind of thing. Seems like $83. We're buying for 42. Size 11.5. Yeah, 11.5 right there. Oh, they might not have the half sizes on there. Okay, so but we can still check and see if they have the platinums over here sold out. So yeah, that could be something to keep our eyes on. And I'll kind of show you a way to kind of mark products that you'll want to keep your eyes on here in a second as well. So there's gonna be a lot of opportunities where you find items like that are profitable. They seem like they'd be good. Maybe they're out of stock or the price hasn't quite risen yet. That's gonna be a whole nother thing that's gonna make you guys a bunch of money. So we could dive through that listing, maybe find some good profit there just for the sake of variety here. I'm gonna keep moving on, close out some of these tabs. And yeah, let's check out. So these free runs we can check out. I also want to check out these revolutions as well. And yeah, let's go ahead and see. So this is something I like to check pretty often is like the max price that this variation might have, or like one of the highest priced variations. And when I do a quick little Google search on this, seems like it's pulling up a lot of $70. Seems like those could be decent. Run 11s. I think those are a little bit different. See if these are the same. These are like the wide versions. See if they got the wides. Don't sleep on like, especially in clothing, like wides, tall, like all that kind of stuff. There's a lot of money to be made in those random niches, like the fancy colors that not a lot of people buy. Like it's not going to typically be like the fastest sellers, but you can find some massive margin in that kind of stuff. Let's see. Yeah. So free run 2018, dive into that. Let's go ahead and check out these Revolution 6s or the 5s as well. So yeah, so it seems like it could be right there on Nike. Pop open. Yeah, this actually could be interesting. 42 with code. There's the Amazon listing. A lot of these other ones are like 5s. Let's see. So yeah, $55. We're getting 25% off as well. It's pretty nice. Plus we get 10% with Rakuten. It can be kind of hit or miss depending on the site with these cash back services. So that's another question I get pretty often is like, should I be baking in cash back to my margin? That kind of stuff. With this, I probably would not until you see it consistently pay out, right? And Nike's one of those stores that doesn't hit super often on cash back. Maybe you get super lucky and you're making money, but it's not one that hits consistently for us. So I like to treat cash back as bonus money, but 10% back on these isn't too bad for bonus money. So let's go ahead and hop into the variations. And actually seems like this. So we opened up like this listing here and it took us to the 13s that they're selling. And these could actually be profitable right away. So let's see price history. So it's got a history of selling for like $70. Right now they're 80. Let's see last Christmas. That's what we really care about right now is making sure that at least as long as the seller count is somewhat similar, we're probably going to see similar charts to last year in terms of demand and how the price acted, that kind of stuff. So I wouldn't be super worried that we go back down to $70. I do want to see what our profit would be though. So yeah, $55. We're getting 25% off. So you can do your math in the cost price box as well, by the way. So if we're getting 25% off, you're just multiplying by 0.75. And then yeah, so we're paying $41. Seems like our worst case scenario is going back. Price drops back to like $70 on this. Currently though, price is $80. So yeah, right now these are $17 in profit. Make sure they're in stock and everything. Looks like they are. Yeah, so these are profitable right here. And it's even better because very giftable category, shoes, clothing, but it's not just the stuff you'll see pretty often, right? It's not just like the shoes and toys, but it's also makeup and it's chocolates and all that kind of stuff. As you guys are sourcing those products, if you ask yourself, like, do I think this is giftable? And if you think it's a giftable type product, then maybe consider that the price is going to go up a little bit. Zooming back into past year, like see like last year's Keepa, the price went pretty, like see right there, seems like the holiday rush kind of rose the price a little bit. It's interesting that the sales rank actually didn't even go super deep on this either. And the prices were still going up as far as like $100 right before Christmas. Seems like more safely, you can kind of say that it would sell for like $80 during Christmas at least. This is something that I actually probably would pull the trigger on right here. And I'm just going to, just for the sake of example, example. Let's talk about how much you'd probably want to buy of this. So first thing we want to do is check out the data offers on Keepa. The reason for that is this estimated sales is going to be split between all variations. And so I like to get as much real data as I possibly can. One quick way you can do that is by basically inferring how fast this single size is selling from the review count. So in this case, like black, white is our most popular color. And then in terms of sizes, we can see 13s. 13s are basically get 9% of the sales. We can also just go ahead and filter this by review count. And let's see. So our black, white size 13 is actually getting 6% of the recent reviews. So this definitely is selling. It is a variation that sells actually more than I would expect for a size 13 shoe. So that's super cool to see. Let's see data offers on Keepa. This gives me even more like real-time data. This is super slept on by a lot of people because especially if like in this seller right here, we can see exactly what their price was and their stock count over time. And this also helps you validate that people actually want to pay the price that you're hoping to charge for your item. So like right here, we want to sell this for $80 to actually make money. And we can see like this guy with selling it for $80 right here, they are actively making sales on this listing. And so it's just proof right here that they went from 6, 7 in stock, 6 in stock, 5 in stock, and they're trickling their way down. It's just proof right here that we can actually sell this item for $80 right now. And yeah, just kind of helps me validate even more that I would be interested in this item. So based on the reviews, if we're going to sell about 6% of these estimated sales are going to this variation, we could do, let's see, 1659 times 0.06. So it's about 100 sales based on that. We can also get that real data based on the offers tab right here. We can see this guy's making pretty good sales over time. So I like to just check a couple of these and see how fast they sold on the offers tab. So especially that one seller we were looking at right here. See, they went from like 44 in stock and then basically like a month later, beginning of October to now they sold like 40. So that lines up pretty well with what we're kind of deciding where this whole listing might be selling, about 100 times a month, plus all the other variations, all the other sizes and stuff. So what I actually like about shoes and stuff as well is that when you find one product, a lot of times you found multiple. You do have the downside of returns and all that kind of stuff that people talk about. So it's important to be a little bit extra strict with your criteria when you're looking at unbreakable items, returnable items, that kind of stuff. But that is the upside, is you can look back and see maybe some of these other ones might be a little bit profitable. So I'm going to go ahead and take that away. But I want to see the history of the new price. A lot of these like buy boxes are a little suppressed. So drag that there. You can also zoom out to 365 so I can see if any of these went crazy in price last year. And so it seems like this one's already at like $70. So like the size 11s at $70. What was our profit again? Yeah, so we're making like 20% ROI. That's not where you want to be in shoes at all. But last Christmas, the price shot way up to $80. Same as the size 9s. They're already shooting up in price. Those are already at like $73. So yeah, there could be a couple. The 13s are good right now. A lot of these are maybe a little bit speculative. If you guys are low on capital, I wouldn't be buying products you're hoping that the price goes up on. But yeah, it could be something interesting to look into there. Like once you get a little more capital, you can have fun with that kind of stuff. Like these, I'd probably end up buying some of these. My worst case is I make $8. My best case, I'm printing money on a bunch of, super fast selling shoes during the heat of Q4, right? So yeah, super cool to see profitable item there. I don't want to get stuck on reverse sourcing too long. I want to show you guys some other cool stuff as well. And I want to show you some other stuff that you're going to be able to use, especially for sourcing on site. So just pull up like an example of a random like clearance section. You could also do this with that last sale that we were just looking at. Clearly there's some potential in there with that 25% coupon stacked on top of a lot of like popular shoes that could be pretty good to look at. But something that I like doing more so, especially as you become more and more experienced as an Amazon seller, you're not going to need to reverse source as much. You're going to know like going straight to the source, going straight to a website that you like to source from, that kind of thing. And when you're looking at these websites, I want to show you guys kind of a hack that will speed you up. So it's just like a random clearance section, right? I'm just going to open up a Brooks listing, just a brand that I know sells pretty well. And this is also a good way to like learn other brands, right? So I'm just going to open Keen. I don't know if I've sold any of these before, like Soft. Let's check these out too. So what I'm going to do when I get here, instead of having to like copy paste, throw it to Amazon, that kind of stuff, you can get your results all on the same page. So highlight over it, right click, and then you can get the Amazon search results to show up on SellerAmp over on the right side. So instead of having to, copy paste, trying to find the right listings, that kind of stuff, it's also going to show you if there might be multiple listings for the product. That's going to be a big one during Q4 as well. There's going to be a listing that's almost exactly the same, sell the same product on 2 different listings, that kind of stuff. So you don't want to miss it. Multi-pack listings, all that good stuff. So it seems like these Catamount trail shoes, seems like that's probably the listing there. It's on clearance for $64. And then I'm going to do the same thing in terms of figuring out what's my lowest sale price that I'm interested in, because nothing else, I don't really even need to check anything else. So let's see, it's probably gonna be like 110 or so based on, so a good rule of thumb is you want to sell stuff for about twice what you're paying for it. So like 110, see like 115 probably more realistically. Yeah, like 40%, especially if you're doing like women's shoes, kind of one of the highest return categories. I like to stick to at least 40 or 45% for those items. So if any of these are going for more than like 115, we might take a look and we need to see what do we got. So we got deep cobalt. We can just pop in here. So you're going Keepa variations. And then a lot of times if they're on there, I like to just kind of type the color. So see cobalt, and yeah, so it seems like we've got some cobalts there. You can also drag the ratings history. This is just a good way, like I was saying, to just kind of infer how fast it might be selling. So here's the size. what are these, size 8s. They are gaining ratings, but they're like $80. Definitely not interested in that. So those are at 80 as well. Those are at like 90. So those are at like, yeah, that's got a review. It's up at like 150 right now. I don't know if that's super consistent though. Seems like it was kind of maybe a one-off sale that we made there. We can go ahead and check it out real quick though. Let's see. Because this is going to be another big mistake that I see new sellers make. Want you guys to avoid. So let's zoom in a little bit. Hop out to the year. So yeah, these are profitable right now. Let's make sure we got the 7s. Oh, they're missing the 7s. Doesn't even matter. But yeah, so it seems like, yeah, it does have a history at like 115. So if you look at some of these items and you see like, oh, it's been consistently back at like $90, and only for the last like month has it been up at like this 152 price. That's where a lot of beginners hop in and they say, oh, it's, you know, the price tanked or whatever. Like when really it's just kind of, you need to look back at the past history of the item a little bit. Let's see. They do have the 9.5s. So a lot of these other ones aren't gaining ratings. They could be selling, but they're definitely not selling very fast. If they are, could maybe pop open some of the ones that are more consistent though. So let's check out like this, and then we'll move on just for time here. So we can go data offers. There was no recent ratings. So this is kind of all we got to go off of for data. So we can go include historical. Yeah. So not a lot of action going on, right? So if we sort 30 days, we'd see at least a little bit of action moving around there. So it's an easy pass. So they are profitable, but they're probably not just going to sell. These, however, it seems like they did sell maybe a couple units at $111. So 112, we're buying for 64. Yeah. So those are profitable. It's probably just not worth the risk in my mind. They just sell a little slow for that level of ROI, but could be worth, you know, checking out. If you're really just strapped for ideas, it's never a bad idea. If you're 3 hours deep into a product binge, you're struggling to find anything, like finding something, proving the concept to yourself, making that sale as fast as possible is always better than nothing. But this is definitely not the products that's going to be buying the Lambo, right? So we'll go ahead and hop on from here. Let's see, 630. Yeah, let's go ahead and check out maybe one more of these here. Actually, I'm going to move on to a different site just for variety. I got a couple other cool things I want to show you. So I'm just going to do the same thing. This is also going to be super valuable when you're looking through different coupons and sales that you see different websites have going on, right? So I pull up like a Walgreens sale as an example, just because they've got like a bunch of vitamins on sale today. So let's just pop open like Nature's Made or something. And then we can do the exact same thing. So we got buy one, get one free on all these. And yeah, all we have to do is hop in here, pop open SellerAmp there, and we can do the same thing. And this is where you'll start to see a lot more of those like 2-pack listings start to show up. I'm just going to open up a few listings here. So see like the 80 count there. What do we got? Oh, we got like 150. So Amazon's on the main listing there. Let's go ahead and see. This can be super quick too. You're just popping open a listing. Do I have multi-packs? Is Amazon on the listing? On this last one, you see Amazon's on the listing right there. Sells for like $10. We're buying them for $10. Buy one, get one free. So we are looking at like fast selling products, but it's just probably not even going to be worth opening up the listing to check out. We could see like, yeah, it's the 80 count. Not exactly what we had. So let's see, B complex. Here's a pack of 3. So this actually is a pretty good example, I think. 140 count. Yeah, 140 count. Let's see. Probably not going to be profitable, but it is a good use case for that multi-search there. So let's see, 100 caplets. Interesting. I'm only seeing the 3-pack. That's funny. So I might also pop this into Amazon if these are close. So yeah, we're getting these for $16.99 times 0.50 because they're BOGO. And then we're buying them as a 3-pack. So obviously we're not interested in losing $5 a unit. Oh, the 1-pack's also on this listing. Or no, it's not. It's different counts. That's weird. This is a weird looking listing here. A lot of times the weird listings are where the money's made though. So it's always good to dig a little bit deeper. So I'm just taking that title, throwing it into Amazon here, seeing if we can find that multi-pack somewhere else. Yeah. So that's weird. There's only a 3-pack of that 140 count. Let's see. I'm just going to check out one more of these here. Let's go for this one. And all we got to do is highlight over that text, pop a little search on it. Let's see. So ideally we'd be looking at stuff that we can be profitable paying $7.50 a pop. I'm not sure what's going on there. We can just pop it into Amazon too. Let's see. We got 100 caplets. So 3-packs, $22. We'd be paying somewhere around that for 3 of them. And if a 3-pack is that much cheaper, then again, going back to what are the things that I can do to open as few listings as possible? If the 3-pack is going to be, you know, I think we'd end up paying 15 if these are $10 and they're BOGO basically. Yeah, somewhere around there. So it's that back of mind, like how can I avoid opening so many listings? If the 3-pack is, you know, basically break even and it's kind of the fastest selling, that kind of thing. See, like one counts $7 there. And that's going to help you avoid opening up the other multi-packs, right? So if you go in here and let's say you're paying like $12 or like $12.50, it's 22% ROI, not the most interesting, but the closer you are, the more you kind of want to go down the rabbit hole. The further you end up from, you know, the 1 count or the multi-pack being not even close to profitable at all, that kind of tells me that maybe there's some kind of wholesalers are on this brand, that kind of thing. And I can kind of keep moving on to the next one. You know, same, or if the brand has no wholesale at all going on, maybe there was a better sale that was a couple weeks ago that I missed, that kind of thing, right? So yeah, let me just close some of these out here. So yeah, those are kind of the 2 ways that you guys are gonna be able to actually source products this Q4. If you are a beginner, you should definitely be leaning more towards the reverse sourcing side of things. If you're more advanced, it's going straight to those sales that you've sourced from before, the brands that you are very confident with, all that kind of stuff, right? So that's kind of the little bit of sourcing stuff I had prepped for you guys. I also want to dive into just some other less talked about things that are also going to be super useful for you. So the first of them being something that we've been super high on social media and stuff, but just want to kind of reiterate here, especially for those of you guys who haven't heard it or you're feeling a little bit underprepared for, we're already starting to see a lot of like Black Friday sales, all that kind of stuff coming up. You need to have a list of items that you can just go back to, and we're going to be somewhat interesting, a little bit profitable if you find it on the right sale, that kind of thing, right? So I've been making a list, especially for our current product sourcing team. Anytime they find an item, like a lot of these shoes we were looking at earlier, where they're maybe not necessarily super profitable right now, like I think a lot of these are like $65. You don't want to buy these making $4 a pair on shoes, that kind of thing. It's just way too much risk for $4 a pair, but you want to at least kind of have your eyes on it and be aware that there could be some potential there. So especially like this size 11 we were talking about earlier, where the price last December shot way up to like $80, we would definitely be all over that type of item. We'd want to go ahead and just store that onto kind of a simple Google Sheet here, right? So I have a Google Sheet set up for a lot of like holidays. If you got like a virtual assistant, it's a good way to kind of separate the leads that they're finding. But in this case, for most of you guys who are going to be probably a one-man show at this point, as you're sourcing, it's that, oh, this item isn't quite good yet. Maybe once I find the right Black Friday coupon, or the price goes up a little bit in the next couple of weeks. Like we're already starting to see a lot of that. It's super cool to see the prices kind of shooting up already. And so you're going to want to have a kind of keep some tabs on that, right? So I'm going to click Christmas on this item because this SKU went up to like $80. I'd be super profitable. It's a pretty safe bet that if we can find it on sale profitable on November 3rd, it's going to be profitable on Black Friday, probably the most profitable day of the year. And so when you come back to this list on Black Friday, you got all those sales going on. You're going to have a huge list of individual products that you already did the research. You know, the price shoots up every year. You can just pop open those Amazon listings and see where the price ended up at. A lot of them, you're going to notice the prices are already shooting up. You can find it on a Black Friday sale, and there's going to be kind of a big opportunity, especially for you to merchant fill, which I'll show you how that kind of works here in a second as well. And I was seeing a couple questions on actually setting up the Google Sheet. So I had that prepared for you guys. If you don't already have your Google Sheet set up, you're just going to go into the back end. It's just on SellerAmp.com. On the top up here, you're just going to go Sheets, Set Up, and then you're just going to press New Sheet. And so like this is formatted like this just example is here. You can drag these around, add whatever you want. And so like what I've been doing for my personal team is we don't really care about like profit and cost price and that kind of stuff. We just want to remember these products. So what you might want to do is go in here and change this to something we use as it's called break even. Where is it? It's right there. So if you store your break even there and your, let's see, sale price at 50% ROI, like your break even or your sales price, that kind of thing, especially having that break even stored, then you're going to have a huge list of ASINs, Amazon links, and the prices that you would need to pay for it to be break even. And then you're just going to be able to compare that item where it's like, hey, well, my break even price was $40. I see them on sale for $30. I've clearly got some margin there. And so it's really useful to just kind of filter this down to the things that you're going to want to see when there's the big sales going on. You got a lot of opportunity to source and not a lot of time to do it because there's going to be way more. Hopefully you're going to be drowning in leads, and the problem is going to be prioritizing them when we come to those Black Friday sales. So that should be pretty helpful for you guys as you're sourcing to start storing that kind of stuff. And when you do come up to Black Friday, for most of you guys, we should be heavily prioritizing merchant fulfilling over FBA, especially if you're in a state with lower sales tax. It's going to be a massive advantage. You can buy it. You're going to get the product, on December 1st, December 5th, somewhere in there, depending on when you buy it during like the Cyber Monday, Black Friday rush. And then what you need to make sure before you end up listing things FBM is you can just go in here and check the buy box statistics, right? So I'm going to make this a little bit simpler. And the main thing you want to look for is type on buy box statistics. And so let's see, we also want to probably add one. So when we filter this by the people who are selling this individual product, just a quick example for you guys, this is going to show me the fulfillment method that they're kind of dominating this listing with. So when I hop in here, see like FBA, tons of FBA, right? A little bit of FBM in there. The same story is going to be on kind of this example I pulled for you guys. It's pretty much only FBA, right? If we go back to probably those Nike shoes we were looking at and we pop open the type, let's see. Right there, filtered by one, we can see even like a suppressed buy box seems like to be the most biggest winner, which makes it way easier to get some sales typically. FBM, lots of FBM. So really what you're looking for on here as we're sourcing Q4 heavy products is as much FBM as possible. If you hop in there and it's 100% FBA, like this listing was right here, you're gonna have a hard time making sales as an FBM seller. So that's just like the quick check you want to do. I've been getting a lot of questions like what types of products should I be merchant fulfilling, that kind of stuff. If you see that on the buy box statistics, you're going to be kind of in the green. If you see all FBA, then maybe consider not FBAing, or go back to last year and you can see, during last year's holiday rush, even on these vitamins, it looks like there was like a holiday rush on this vitamin SKU, which is really funny to see. So like right there, when we mouse over the Keepa as well, you can see like the blue up at the top. The blue shows me that it was an FBM seller. You see like orange will show up if it's FBA. So we can see like last holiday season, it seems like there's a bunch of FBM sellers on this, for example. We can even do the same thing with, like the shoe listing. And yeah, we can see a lot more FBM up there as well. It's pretty much only FBM last Q4. So that's going to be a good kind of reassurance assurance that you are actually going to make some sales as kind of an FBM seller there. And then I want to leave some time for Q&A and stuff. But one last thing I want to show you guys as well is kind of knowing when a sale is good is super, super important. So at the beginning, we were looking at these different websites, you know, we got our 20% at DSW, all that kind of stuff. It's a really good habit to get into of making a list like this, where it's my site, the best coupon I've seen, what items was I sourcing, and then how bulk friendly was it. You can put whatever you want on this little spreadsheet here. But the reason that this is going to be useful is because when Black Friday rolls around, every website on the planet's going to be saying, hey, it's our best sale of the year, when really it could be one of their worst sales of the year, right? And so if you're going in here and you're recording some of your favorite coupons, your favorite sites, that kind of stuff, and then specifically what you're able to source, that's going to be tremendously valuable going into Black Friday. Those of you guys who probably already have a product catalog, I see some of you guys with some box files behind, so you're hard at work. If you already have some of your favorite sites and coupons, it's a really good idea to just start recording some of that so that when the sales roll around, you're going to be able to prioritize that website that, hey, 30% is actually as good as they ever do versus the site that's, you know, shouting from the rooftops that you need to be buying product from them when it's one of their worst sales of the year. So good habit to get in, especially if you plan on building a team one day. Just kind of storing who actually wants your money on the bulk friendly tab here is going to be super valuable so that your team's going to know where you're getting bans from, where you're not getting banned, who wants your money and who doesn't, right? So I really hope you guys got a ton of value out of that presentation. If you guys want to see more videos like that, let me know down below. Let me know if you picked up any new gems and what that new gem was. I'd be curious what I was able to introduce you to. If you guys did get value, please feel free to hit that subscribe button. I'm picking one random subscriber for the month of November to do a free one-on-one consult with. Super excited to meet you if that's you. So I really appreciate you guys watching this video, and I will see you next time.